What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the true definition of a sports fanatic. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley. And today we're going to get into it. Got a lot of sports news from NBA and the NFL. But we got to start out. Definitely got to start out with the game last night. Now, I talked about Cam Newton on my podcast that I put out last week. Yeah, week before. And I talked about how, the bug slowed him down and him not having a whole lot of talent around him. They seem to have found something in Jacoby Myers. Of course, Julian Edelman still isn't there. They have no tight ends to speak of. They do have a good line, and they do have a host of running backs. Damian Harris, yeah. Of course, roll tide. But I said, if anybody can figure it out, it's going to be Belichick and his crew. And I knew that, man. Hey, I told a bunch of people, I say they crapping on Cam right now, but you see what Cam is doing. Cam is heating up like that leftover lasagna. Cam heating up like they wrapped him in flannel. Don't be surprised if down the stretch they are in position to challenge for a wild card spot. I see it happening. Even though Buffalo is great, Miami is legit. Don't sleep on the Patriots, because what they did last night, let's just be honest, the Ravens got bullied in the rain, and Belichick is incredibly smart. The announcers talked about it last night, how they practiced for hours in the rain to prepare for that game, and how Cam played so well in the rain in practice, and it showed last night. One of the other things I did see, the Ravens defense, for whatever reason, they just did not look like they wanted to be there last night. They didn't. The matchups between the offensive line for the Patriots and the defensive line for the Ravens was lost. The game was lost in that matchup. And I saw they were there, of course, there without Calais Campbell. And if you know me, you guys know how much I love Calais Campbell. He should still be a Jaguar. But not having Calais, who's not only a great pass rusher, but he sets the edge against the run. It showed last night. Now, would it have been so much different if Calais would have played? Don't know. We'll never know. But it didn't help that he wasn't there. And they got bullied for real. And shoot, Lamar Jackson, man. I'll say this about Lamar. They have a lot of injuries, and everybody's injured, so that's no excuse. But outside of Mark Andrews, there's not much reliable there. I mean, you got a host of running backs. You got Gus Edwards, of course. You have you got Mark Ingram, who's just coming back. You have J.K. Dobbins. But outside of those guys, it's Mark Andrews or bust. It really is, because Hollywood Brown is a second-year wide receiver they're still waiting for him to make that jump. You got Willie Snead, and then Boykin, and this is really just a bunch of guys. It's Mark Andrews and a bunch of guys, and so I didn't want to come too hard down on Lamar, but Lamar has to be better, and of course, Greg Roman, the OC for the Ravens, dude has to he has to come with better plans, man, because his play calling over the last couple of games has been subpar at best. Play calling for the Ravens has been, I would say, lackluster. Let's call it what it is. It's lackluster. And I understand who Greg Roman is. I understand his greatness, and I understand what he's done. But a real question in the offseason is going to be had in the Ravens brass about Greg Roman going forward. But bear with me for a second. I'm going to share to a couple of groups. Children, if you guys know a couple of groups, I told you, hey, share me in the groups or send the groups to me so we can get the word out. Make a holler at your boy. Let's see, NFL Junkies. There we go. Man, it's a lot of groups. Let's see. World's greatest sports fans. Oh, yep, there we go. And see live sports. There we go. All right. Now let's talk about the Miami Dolphins and Mr. Tua Tagovailoa, who is legit, of course. I told you his talent shouldn't have been questioned ever for whoever questioned his talent, but his durability was always a question. But it's amazing that Brian Flores, the Miami head coach, took Ryan Fitzpatrick out. He put Tua in, and they haven't missed a beat. Before, when Tua was named the starter, and I saw the 3 games he had coming up, that was the Rams, Chargers, and Cardinals. And I said, man, that's a hell of a slate of games. And he swept all 3. I would not have been, I would have lost my house because I would have betted that he probably went maybe 1-2 in those games. But Miami is legit. Miami has a legit defense. I think they're number 2 in points given up. Miami is legit, man. But let's talk about the Jaguars real quick. So I'll go ahead and get them out the way. It's a 1-8 team, so we're not going to spend much time on it. My focus is more on the Packers and how the Packers found out Sunday that they're not good enough to sleepwalk through games. You're not. I know what it was. It's cold, and you got the 1-7 Jaguars, a Southern team, coming to play. They're going to be cold. They're not going to be spirited. They're not going to have much energy. We're more talented, so we're going to be able to get out there, give it all. We just maybe go half effort, and we should blow the Jaguars out. That was the Packers' attitude going into that game. It was obvious early on. But what happened? Miles Jack, Miles Jack has played tremendously this year. Miles Jack has had a Pro Bowl season to this point. It's amazing because that defense played very, very well against Aaron Rodgers, even though, he had 300 yards, he had 2 touchdowns, a third one running and whatever. But as far for what we've had this point in the season, they played inspired football. They gave the team a chance to win. Sunday, they weren't the problem. And that hasn't been the case all season. They have been the problem for majority of the season. They gave up, 30 points a game for 6 straight games, which was an NFL record. And then you go to Green Bay, you go to the frozen tundra, you go to the historic Lambeau, and you hold Aaron Rodgers to a shutout in the first quarter. I was shocked. I'm sitting at home shocked. But, of course, in the second quarter, Aaron Rodgers comes out, bombed the Valdez-Scantling, and then it was kind of like back and forth, and they were off to the races, and it kind of woke up some. But there was some home cooking with those referees. I'm not going to talk much crap about it because we're 1-8 team. It is what it is. Don't nobody care. Don't nobody want to hear. I got that. But it was some home cooking with them refs Sunday. It was some home cooking. They took away 2 touchdowns from James Robinson. The score really should have been 24-24, but that's a chance to go and win the game. That's what it should have been. But can't cry with spilt milk. You don't leave the game up to the refs. It is what it is. Those phantom holding calls that they were calling. But anyway. But on to the next topic, which it depends on who the Jaguar fan is and whether they like them or not, because people seem to be split down the middle on the fan base. What Kurtson say? They was holding. Yes, they were. They were holding. They were holding. Hold on. Who are you referring to? You referring to the Jaguars holding? Because on one, the first James Robinson touchdown, it was clear as day. Chris Conley was holding. Clear as day. Clear as day. James Robinson probably doesn't score if Chris Conley don't grab those pads and hold the DB. But on his second touchdown run, On the second touchdown run, that was a phantom holding call. See, and they took Adams' touchdown off the board. Yeah, because of holding. Now, I don't remember vividly that hold, but if I'm not mistaken, that might have been a clear hold. I can't argue about that hold because it's not a clear hold. But I know the 2 touchdowns that James Robinson could have had. One, yeah, that was a clear hold. The other one, that was a phantom call all day long. But now we're moving forward. Man, the NFC West is absolutely stacked. Like the Seahawks have the best player in the NFL, but they clearly are not the best team, period. I would be shocked if they won the NFC West because the Rams have showed you they can play defense. Yeah, they can play defense. You say they were consistent with the whole game. The whole game with holding. Yeah, they called a lot of holes. Some were phantom though. Sometimes for the Packers too. Only a few for the Packers, but I saw a few with the Jaguars. Some of those calls, and not even just holding, but other calls. Man, I didn't like it. But we won in 8, so hey, it is what it is. It's not like we were vying for a playoff spot anyway. Yeah, who cares? But the NFC West is absolutely stacked with the Cardinals, the Chargers, not the Chargers, but the Cardinals. Hold on, wait. Russell played like trash. Yes, he did. Yes, he did, Kurtson. Russell absolutely played like trash. Yes, he did. I don't know what, but in their Rams matchups, the Rams have always pretty much either they've split or I've seen them sweep the Seahawks, man. So that's a bad matchup for Russell, and it didn't help. And that goes back to what I was talking about. It did not help that he couldn't go to DK Metcalf like he wanted to, because Jalen Ramsey was giving that lockdown defense. Hey, as HaHa Davis said, which I'm pretty sure Tom Coughlin absolutely hated Jalen Ramsey showing up to practice in that in the Brinks truck with the money bags. But like HaHa said, the man coverage is so good, he's starting his own cell phone service. Because DK had 4 targets, 2 catches for 28 yards. Now watching Baldy's breakdown, Brian Baldinger, and he broke it down. And he was like, Jalen was bored all game because they didn't want to test him. But he played lockdown coverage on DK, which is why Russell never went that way. And once that was taken away, man, and he had to think, pull down, try to run, that defensive line for the Rams were getting after Russell, man. So, but like I say, the NFC West is stacked. Yeah, Seahawks, Cardinals, Rams. And the only reason the 49ers suck is because they're injured. Just imagine if they had their whole team. We were talking about possibly 4 teams going to the playoffs because they would have been good as well. He should have had Ramsey beat on several. Well, that's any DB, man. It was a couple of times Devontae beat some of the Jaguar players, and Aaron Rodgers didn't see him because of pressure. I was surprised because we can't pressure the quarterback, but somehow we pressured Aaron Rodgers Sunday, which is very strange. I want to say we're turning a corner, but I don't want to get hopeful because that allows sunshine in, and this is a dark chasm that I'm in right now, about as dark as this shirt, and the only thing you can see is this symbol. But anyway. Kyler Murray is your MVP right now. Hands down. Kyler Murray is your MVP right now. Lamar was your MVP. When Lamar's MVP season, Kyler Murray is beating those numbers right now through 8 games. He is your MVP. Now, yes, Josh Allen is balling too. I got to give it to him. Josh Allen is balling too. It's right now. I'll give it to Kyler. He just beat him head up. So I give it to Kyler. But Josh Allen is right there. It's going to be a tight race going down the stretch for Kyler Murray and Josh Allen. He said, no, don't drink that Kool-Aid. Don't drink what Kool-Aid? Kyler Murray's good, man. Dude, I can never get over the fact that somebody said when Kyler Murray runs out of the pocket, he looks like a bad kid running down the hallway. And that's exactly what he looks like. He looks like a bad kid running away from you. He does. It's hilarious. But Kyler Murray is your front runner for MVP. Yeah. He said he leads his division. Yeah, he does lead his division. But who knows, man? Miami's good. If you're talking about Josh Allen, Miami's good. Who knows? And the NFC West is absolutely stacked, like I said. So who knows, man? He is good, but not MVP good. I don't know, man. Hey, listen, Kurtson, listen, man. And I know you're not gonna like this because I didn't like it when I heard it. But after I stopped being emotional about it because I love Lamar, people know I love Lamar. He should have been a Jaguar. Anyway, but Ryan Clark said if Kyler Murray was on the Ravens, they would be a legit Super Bowl contender. You wouldn't have a worry about them faltering in the playoffs if he was the quarterback. Now, initially, I was like, oh, man, that's terrible. That how could you say that, blah, blah, blah. But then I thought about it, and I said, at this point in the season, who would I trust more right now in a big game? Is it Lamar or is it Kyler Murray? I had to really think about it, man. And I'm sorry. And y'all know I love Lamar. You know I love Lamar. I love Lamar. But I'm sipping the Kyler Murray Kool-Aid, man. I am. I'm sorry. I'm sipping the Kyler Murray Kool-Aid. It's strawberry lemonade. It's good. It's red just like his Cardinal jersey. It's really, really good. Let's see, Jakari, Lamar need a star wide receiver. He does, man. He does. Who's the receivers again? I talked about that. I said outside of Mark Andrews, it's just a bunch of guys. I said that. I got all of that. I do. I got all of that. I do. Now, do I believe that Lamar can do what Kyler Murray's doing if he was with the Cardinals? Yes, all day long. Hands down. And even him working with Cliff Kingsbury, because Greg Roman is something, man. Okay, you want to be let on? Hey, well, hold on, people. We're gonna do an audible real quick. My original member, my original guy who's gonna come on, he couldn't come on. And it's funny because I got spoiled because I was like 10 for 10, and guess, life happens. But it's all good because we probably going back to lockdown. And when we go back to lockdown, you guys are going to be sitting in the house watching your boy. Please believe that. Hey, so Kurtson, I said it, so come on. Let's see. So what we talked about? Package on that sleepwalk. Okay. But yeah, man. I told you I'm sipping the Kyler Murray Kool-Aid. I'm sorry. He said Hopkins, Fitz, and Kirk. He has a plethora of weapons. Yes, he does. He He has a plethora of weapons, man. I know he does. But Kyler's just different, man. And when it comes to now Lamar's progression in throwing the football, I see it in spurts because that touchdown throw to Willie Snead in the rain. Let's see. Okay. What's up, man?
What's going on, sir?
What's going on?
First off, let me say I love your show. Let's just put that out there first and foremost.
Yes, sir.
You're doing great things, and I got to do that. But as the chief defense, as the chief negotiator for Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
Free Lamar Jackson. Let me explain something to you. What I'm telling you is not to drink the Kool-Aid on Kyler Murray. I think Kyler Murray is wonderful at quarterback. But when we throw that MVP around, let's just be clear.
Yeah, Edmonds, no slouch either. Yeah, Chase Edmonds is good.
What Lamar did last year was minus a number one receiver, a true number one.
Yes.
Let's just be clear.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray. Now, we tried to get DeAndre Hopkins. I would have loved to see what people hating on with Lamar if we would have got DeAndre Hopkins to go with Hollywood. But I digress. But what I do want you to understand is that there are 2 Hall of Fame wide receivers, one guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer in Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
And mind you, Larry Fitzgerald will make the Hall of Fame first ballot without a Super Bowl ring on his credit. That says a lot.
Yeah.
T.O. should have made it first ballot without a Super Bowl ring on his. But that says a lot for the company that you make. Larry Fitzgerald is a beast. His understanding of offenses. And then you have that monster, DeAndre, number 10.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw it. That game was won. Josh Allen went down there, played masterfully against a defense that is known for stopping passes and receivers. And he threaded a needle on that pass to Diggs in the end zone. He put that ball where it needed to be. If he put that ball anywhere else, it's an interception. He put that ball where it needed to be and trusted the receiver to make a play. So let's just be clear. When we talk about Kyler Murray and the comparisons between Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson, you're performing to that level with 2 Hall of Fame wide receivers. And Christian Kirk is a blazer at speed. Let's just be clear. He is fast as all get out.
Yeah.
He run like the wind blows, like Forrest Gump say. He run like the wind blows. Chase Edmonds is a good pass catching back. I'm not impressed with Drake this year, but I think that's because of the flow of the offense.
Yeah.
And them featuring Kyler and that Kingsbury situation.
Yeah, but running is an afterthought in that offense.
Exactly. It is. They throw the ball to set up the run to close the game out or something like that. So yeah, I'm just saying I just don't I know you're not hating on Lamar, but I just I need people to understand 2 things about Lamar. Lamar just took his 6th loss in 3 years in the NFL. We're not talking college stats and none of that.
Right.
Him and Dan Marino are tied for the most wins in their first 30 games at 25-25.
Yep, I saw it.
Let's just be clear. And then people need to understand, we're talking about 5 losses from Lamar. His rookie year, he lost in the playoffs with the offense that was not geared towards him.
See, Kyler has better wide receivers and a smarter offensive coach. I get Greg Roman out of here.
Say that. Well, no. Here's the deal. I don't say get Greg out of there because the run game has been superb. The run schemes have been superb. But like most coaches, you do need an offensive consultant. My problem with Baltimore is you have access to one of the best offensive coaches in the NFL in Brian Billick. Brian Billick used to coach the Ravens. Yeah. When he was in Minnesota, people forget that Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Warren Moon situation that they had. Not Warren Moon. What was the guy's name? What was my man's name?
Oh, Cunningham?
Cunningham.
Yeah.
When they had that stick over in Minnesota and Minnesota was setting all those scoring records. Yeah. It was a Brian Billick offense.
Yes, it was.
Actually got him the job in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So I just need them to be clear. I understand what Greg Roman is doing, but I do think you need to bring in, if it's not Billick, I mean, you could just bring Billick's ear because he's right there, but bring in a consultant for your aerial attack. Bring in a guru for your wide receivers. We don't, like I've always said, we don't have a wide receiver for the Ravens, but I'm not here to talk about the Ravens. I'm just here to defend the fact that I need people. Yeah, it does say property of the Ravens. I'm sorry. But I do need people to understand that. Yeah. I truly believe, I think Kyler is great, and I think Kyler is going to be a superstar in this league. But I think he's going to fall into those same traps. No, actually, he's not. Russell Wilson showed out the other night.
He was great with offense till he came to Baltimore. Well, the pieces that Brian Billick had to work with in Baltimore was something.
Yeah, we played smash mouth football, and look at what Ozzie was drafting. Ozzie was drafting running backs.
Yes.
You forget our first running back was when Brian Billick got there. Priest Holmes was the running back, and we had drafted Lamar. We drafted 31.
Yeah.
We drafted my man who should be in the Hall of Fame.
He misusing Hollywood. The use of Hollywood. Is it Hollywood or is it the coach? I think it's a bit of both, man. I don't think it's just the coach. I think it's both. I think it's on both shoulders. Hollywood is complaining and he has an issue, but he has a bit of his cousin's attitude. I think it's on him.
He's not wrong. Why would you bring in a number one receiver? You drafted Hollywood. That was your number one pick last year.
Yeah.
Hollywood was the number one pick for the Ravens last year. So you brought in you used your first round pick on a wide receiver. The same problem I have with Russell Wilson is the same problem I'm having with Lamar and that offensive coordinator in Baltimore right now.
Yeah.
DK Metcalf had Jalen beat on a couple of routes. But sometimes, just like the Super Bowl, Wilson gets to thinking too much. He overthinks things and he wants it to happen a certain way. Instead of going, if you got Metcalf, let's just be clear, is the next Megatron. He's the next closest thing to Megatron.
Yeah. He said Ozzy drafted Kyle Bowler. Yeah, let's not talk about Kyle Bowler.
Listen, Lamar is the best quarterback that Ozzy has ever drafted. But let's say Ozzy, everybody has flaws. And I love Ozzy. I trust Ozzy. It's just that, and Ozzy will tell you this, he's always missed at wide receiver. And I think it's the confines of the way we play smash mouth football. We don't like to play. We haven't played fast-paced football since we had Harbaugh and Testaverde. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Baltimore hasn't been like a really shootout team. So I just want people to understand that. Like the way we played is we play smart on offense and we let defense do what they do. And we play for the offense not to lose the game. And we usually play, it's a control game. So, I mean, like I said, we're going to have some struggles this year. And then with the injuries we taking, it's crazy. But it is what it is. I just want people to understand Kyler Murray I need people to understand the compliments that Kyler Murray has around him. And so I don't fault anybody for that. I just need Baltimore to get us a veteran wide receiver. I thought somebody should have pulled the trigger for Julio. And
when the wide receiver's having a hard time, you're supposed to move him around, give him screens, slants, put him in the slot, and find ways to get him involved. Yes, you do. That's why I said part of it is the coach. Another part of it, I think, is Hollywood. I don't know how much it might be on him, but some of it is on him. It ain't just.
But do also realize this: when you are the only wide receiver when you're the only go receiver, and Willie Snead just started catching balls like 2 weeks ago. Willie Snead has not showed up.
Yeah.
At all.
I mean, do you agree with this? You can make a real argument that the best wide receiver in Ravens history for the small stretch he was there was Anquan Bolden.
Yes and no. I'm going to say, and I love Anquan. I have his jersey. I've been in chapter verse. His jersey is in my closet, which means a lot because I don't really get Ravens jerseys unless I know they mean something to
Who else outside of him?
Derek Mason.
Derek Mason was great.
Steve Smith. We've always thrived on getting veteran receivers to go with the younger mix. The last 3 years is the first year. When Steve Smith retired, we've never replaced Steve Smith. Okay, when Derek Mason left, we replaced Derek Mason with Anquan Bolden. We replaced Anquan Bolden with Steve Smith.
Yeah.
Who did we replace Steve Smith with? What veteran?
Yeah.
What proven veteran?
Right.
Exactly. We didn't do that. And that's why I was like, we need that veteran. I guarantee you we'd probably be talking a whole nother ball game right now if we were talking about Julio Jones being on the Ravens after the All-Star. I mean, after the trade deadline.
Man, if Julio or Hop is a Raven today, we are having a totally different conversation.
We're having a different conversation, and I mean that. But I digress. I'm just telling you what it is. We want Lamar to do this, and we want him to do that. But let's just be clear. Lamar has only lost 6 games in his entire career. And one of my arguments, even 2 weeks ago, when the national media took this playbook about Lamar can't win big games, is that
Seth Roberts.
yeah, when you say somebody can't win big games, am I correct in believing that San Francisco was undefeated when we played them last year?
Oh yeah, yes they were.
Wound up playing in the Super Bowl. Was that correct? Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah.
Please, Mr. Lampley, keep me correct on this because I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah.
When we played Seattle, wasn't Seattle the hottest team in football?
Yes, they were.
When we beat the Rams on Monday Night Football, wasn't the Rams like the end all be all? We were the ones that exposed
them. So much so till Marcus Peters was talking trash and got Jalen Ramsey in his feelings. Beat him down.
Okay, say less. So what I'm trying to get people to understand something.
He can win big games, man.
Exactly. He has won big games.
Yes.
The question is, he's only lost 6. So when you sit here and say he can't win big games, let's just be clear. Out of a 35-game career, at a 36-game career, he's only lost 6 of them, including yesterday. And that's including playoffs.
Yeah.
So I want people to really understand what they say when they say that. Big Ben has played Lamar Jackson one time. They won a game earlier this year that, let's just be clear, from a coaching standpoint, the ball fell their way because the stat book says that they shouldn't have won that game.
No, they shouldn't have won that game.
Go back and look at the stats, and then you tell me who was supposed to win that game.
The Ravens. The Ravens bullied Pittsburgh. The more physical team in those matchups usually win the game.
The ball will bounce your way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I'll say something that you know from yesterday. What game did you watch yesterday on TV?
I watched the Jags Packers. I watched Miami versus the Chargers.
Who was the most physical team in the Jags Packer game? Who was the most physical team?
Jacksonville.
Who dominated the line of scrimmage?
Jacksonville.
Name the standout star on Jacksonville's defense that did all of that. Exactly. Nobody. Everybody played fundamental football, and they stopped. It was a bad matchup for the Packers because guess what? The Packers like to run those bubble screens.
They were all over them.
And they like to run their running backs out the flat. What did Jacksonville defend better than anybody else? And what did they do? They set that edge.
Yep.
And they kept that edge, and they wouldn't let them break contain. And they stopped that bubble screen stuff. So guess what? Outside of that big play, outside of
Scantling.
Outside of that, that was Jacksonville's game. Outside of that big play, and then that was disrespectful too. But then also for Adams to play like his ankle was hurt and high point that boy in the end zone, that was crazy. But he's the best wide receiver in the league right now. Say that. I don't care what nobody say.
There's no competition. He's the best wide receiver in the league.
He's the best wide receiver in the league right now.
Yes.
But I just say, like, if you got a team that's a bad matchup for you, you're going to have a problem. Without Calais last night, we gave up over 100 yards rushing. Calais was missing. Brandon Williams was missing. We couldn't set the edge, and we couldn't get in the middle. And we still had chances to win, but we couldn't set that. So Bill Belichick, being the genius that he is, said, you know what? Keep that damn ball out the air.
Hey, Anthony just said it. He a Ravens guy, and he said y'all get out-coached.
Oh, we definitely get out-coached. Everybody know how I feel about Harbaugh. I have a love-hate relationship with Harbaugh. I think he's an excellent people's manager. I just don't think that as an in-game coach, I don't think he's an in-game coach. I think in-game coach, X's and O's. I need to match up against you. He's been out-coached by Andy Reid, and if it comes down to coaching, we're going to lose. If our players show up and they're at their best and they're dominating, if it comes down to coaching, we're going to lose. And I've always said that. We have to go in there and be a bully. We got to punch them in the mouth early and don't let them recoup.
Yeah.
Because if we don't do that, then we lose when it comes to coaching. We've been out-coached by Andy, and we've been out-coached by Belichick on more than one occasion in the Harbaugh era. And Mike, my
hold on.
Yeah, he stay out coaching Harbaugh. Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin. Okay. Yeah. He does, man. And I said that with the Patriots matchup it was coaching, and the Ravens were physical. Losing Calais was big because one of the things about Calais, and I love Calais. Calais should still be here. Calais can rush the passer, but Calais sets the edge in the run game. He's underrated setting the edge in the run game.
But he plugs that middle. He forces you out to the linebackers. And without Calais, our blitzes don't really hit home because Calais stops everything in the middle. The way you beat a blitz is with draws. Everybody know that. Like if you want to beat a blitz, you throw a draw.
Yeah.
You can't beat Calais in that middle. You're not running up that middle. Yes, ma'am.
Mama can't remember. What were you going to name me before you thought of the name Cameron? What were y'all thinking of naming me before you?
Yeah, definitely.
I just say, like I say, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree totally with your. I agree totally. Y'all have to excuse me. That was my daughter coming to ask me some crazy stuff. But she okay.
Amp said he's a good leader of men, but not X's and O's. He talking about Harbaugh.
Definitely. He's the moral coach. He's good for morale. But when it comes down to X's and O's, that's why I say we need an offensive consultant. Yeah.
If you could get what I've heard, like a pass game coordinator.
You
get you a pass game coordinator and go get you. If you could have gotten DeAndre Hopkins, because it's obvious the Texans gave away DeAndre Hopkins for two loaves of bread and a bag of potatoes.
2 whole loaves? No, they gave him for the 2 heel pieces in the sandwich bag.
There you go. And some potatoes and a bag of potatoes that's growing into other potatoes.
Yeah, with the sprouts coming out of them.
With the sprouts coming out, man. That's what they gave him away for. And I couldn't believe that.
They ripped that team up. But yeah, we tried to get him. They took the trade from the Arizona. They didn't want to trade him into the AFC. Man, I was so mad about that. That was probably that and the fact that we couldn't pull the trigger for Julio.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Houston, they say, Amp say Houston declined. Houston told y'all no. Yeah. I understand. That's the AFC. So I understand Houston saying no. I understand. Because they know they're going to have to see you at some point. So I understand that. But Julio, man, if you could have got Julio, man, that changes everything, dude.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I really think.
Yeah, that does.
Look, man, I'm not gonna hold you long.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Wonderful thing. You're doing a great, wonderful thing here. I'm gonna have to invite you out to. We're gonna have to talk offline. Offline, I got some equipment you might want to use. It's gonna tighten you up. It's gonna make you look good. It's gonna make you better.
Yeah.
Hey, I enjoy your show. Y'all is listening. Make sure you like, share. It's good to support each other.
Yeah.
Because some of your takes have been better than the national media takes. And we just got to up you like they up the rest of them, because you can do this. You can definitely do this without question. So I appreciate you for allowing me to defend my quarterback. I really do. I'm going to let you finish your show, my guy.
Yes, sir.
Always love. Y'all make sure y'all like and share this, man. Get other people to follow my man.
Yeah, man.
The definition of a sports fanatic. He never lied right there.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. Hey, hit me up, man. Hit me up.
Yes, sir. Will do.
Yes, sir. Man, but I appreciate that. Kurtson coming on. And Bill O'Brien. Hey, well, he's going now. And it's hilarious that J.J. Watt was the one that got him up out of here, which is hilarious. The last straw was J.J. Watt, Captain America / Boy Scout, wanting him up out of here. Because they said in practice one day, him and Bill O'Brien got into it. And J.J. Watt said he had enough. So he went to management, and pretty much, the team is behind J.J. And so they pulled the trigger, and they got Bill O'Brien up out of here. J.J. Watt did his thing when it came to that. Yeah, man. So, hey, Anthony, man, come on. Hey, we got to do this, man. You got to come on so we can do this, man. Hey, show for a show, man. Let's get it. Let's get it popping. But overall, man, the NFL weekend was great. Which I think we covered most of the bases. We talked a little Ravens, but I love Lamar Jackson. It's never a dull show when I get to talk about Lamar Jackson because I think Lamar Jackson is great. Man, but from around the NFL, Buccaneers absolutely destroyed the Panthers, which, kind of seen that coming. Browns went in, Lions went in, it's whatever. I am looking forward to the Raiders and the Chiefs matchup next Sunday night because now there's a story coming out. Andy Reid said that he did not like the fact that the Raiders took a victory lap around Arrowhead Stadium after they beat them. I think it was 40-32. I think that was the final score of that game. John Gruden and the Raiders took victory laps in their buses around Arrowhead Stadium. Andy Reid did not appreciate that. And so I'm sure they're going to have a little something cooked up for the Raiders come Sunday night. And I cannot wait for that. But now it's enough of the NFL. Going to move on a little bit before we get out of here. Talk about just a little bit of NBA news. The trade deadline. The trading has opened up in the NBA. So Chris Paul has been traded to the I think it's the Phoenix Suns. Yeah. So now you have Devin Booker and Chris Paul with the Phoenix Suns. Huge trade. Apparently that was one of his destinations. And Sam Presti, the GM for the Oklahoma City, they did right by CP3 because he came there. He was a model citizen. He was a leader. And they did right by him because they could have got a lot more because they got CP3 and they gave up, I think, just a first and a couple of players. They could have got a lot more for Chris Paul. But, hey, you see, Suns trying to get Giannis. If the Suns get Giannis, that would be interesting. I want to know how that will work. I think it could work, but that'll be very, very interesting. They're right there. They're top 4 in the West if they go get Giannis. Easy. Probably top 2. It's the Lakers and probably the Suns, depending on how quickly they can gel for sure. And then the Lakers, they ironed Dennis Schroeder. So who knows if they can get him. I think he'd be an upgrade if they can get him. I know they talked about acquiring Chris Paul, but that contract was too large. I mean, $85 million over the next 2 years is too large for LA because they got to re-sign Anthony Davis. So I know that was too much, but getting Dennis Schroeder is an upgrade for sure. Harden and Westbrook, of course, they both want out. He said he want to play with CP3. Well, we'll see if the Suns can make it happen. Harden and Westbrook wanting out with the Rockets. Westbrook's contract is a hurdle. It's going to be hard for them to move Westbrook because that contract is an albatross. It's monstrous. It's huge. It's big. It's going to be very hard for them to move Westbrook to especially a contender with that contract. And then apparently James Harden wants to go to Brooklyn to pair up with KD and Kyrie. Initially, it was Paul George rumored to want to do that, but now Harden wants to go there. And they're saying that that's a real thing. And I was like, that's not going to work because you got 2 ball stoppers. KD is not going to stand in the corner at the 3-point line watching them 2 dribble for 23 seconds of the clock. He's not going to do it. So I don't think that Harden and Kyrie can work on any level. I just don't see it unless one coming off the bench, and we know neither one are coming off the bench. So I don't think that's going to work at all. But on the other side of that, Uncle Drew, which is Kyrie Irving, he does not like that idea. He doesn't like the idea of Harden coming there. And for the same reasons I just said, we talking about a ball dominant guard who dribbles for 23 seconds of the clock. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So I don't see that working on any level. Harden in Brooklyn, don't see it. So, but we'll see how things go. Pretty much it's probably gonna be more trades. Definitely want to see where Giannis goes. Seeing if the Clippers are going to keep the status quo or if they're going to make some moves and shake things up. The report of Victor Oladipo openly asking other teams if he can play for them in front of his teammates is hilarious. So there might be something there. But December 22nd, man. So what's the day? The 16th. So in a month, a little over a month, we'll have NBA back, and we'll be back in full swing. Have NBA and NFL, man. I'm just so giddy, man, because for a while we had nothing, and that was horrible. But I'm glad we getting back to it. But that is the end of my time. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Check out the True Definition of a Sports Fanatic podcast. Remember, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Castbox, Anchor, all those good things. Follow me on IG, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, Brandon Lampley. Just search for me. I'm on all those platforms. But I thank you guys for tuning in. I thank you guys for the support. Hey, like, share, and subscribe. Anybody, like I said, anybody who want to come on, just let me know, message me, and you come on. We do this every Monday. We can go live. We interact with the people, the comments, and everything, man. So just let me know. But until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Peace.